Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. And good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. So, I've lit a candle already today, and I am going to devote this candle to the finding of John George. This family deserves to be put out of their misery, whatever anyone thinks of John or whatever the circumstances or blah de blah de blah de blah. You know, people put nasty comments sometimes, say nasty things. At the end of the day, as we've seen in this particular case, John has gone missing, the same as anyone who goes missing. The family are desperate to recover John. They've accepted that John is 99% likely to be no longer on this planet, if not 100% likely. They just want to take him home. They just want to give him a decent burial. And any decent person should be behind that. Whatever they think about John or whatever John might have done or might not have done, there's no evidence that he did anything in particular, or not as far as I know anyway. He's not a saint. His own auntie said that. He's not a saint. There's many of us may have loved ones that have gone off the rails, and some have come back. You know, if people go off the rails when they're young, if they're lucky enough, they come back and make a good life for themselves and make a positive effect on society. Maybe John did go off the rails, maybe he did things he shouldn't have done, but that doesn't affect the fact that this family, his mum, his dad, his granny, his sisters, his brother, his children. Now, one of his children, there's a post on the Facebook page today, their first day back at school. How's that going to be for them? You know, first day back at school. People are going to know about it. People are going to talk about it. He knows what's going on, that his dad is missing in Spain and probably dead. How awful for him. So if you don't care about John, care about the family. As I say, then there's his sisters, his brother, his cousins, uncle, you know, friends. From what I can see, there's a lot of support behind John and his family. So in my eyes, they can't be that bad. And in some ways, it doesn't matter. Now, there's a lot of missing people out there that deserve to be found. I'm not saying that John is any more deserving than any other missing person, or his family are any more deserving than any other family. But we're covering this case. This case is happening now. His family, maybe even as we speak, are out there searching in a foreign country, places that they don't even really know. For the deceased body of their son. They're not looking for a positive outcome, you know. So if you don't, you know, you have to feel for them. So this is happening now. I'm going to you know, it's on my mind all the time out what that family are going through. I just can't, you know, get my head around it, how they must feel, how awful it must be for them. So yeah, so the candle's lit, and if you can't do anything else for John and his family, you can say a prayer. Send some good thoughts. If all you want to send is negative thoughts, well, you can send them somewhere else, because any negative comments about the family or about John, I'm not going to have, because, you know, not until John's found, and then maybe we can find out some of the motives. We don't even know what the motive for this was. Why was John killed? You know, why? It's a very extreme thing to do, isn't it? Anyway, I'm going to say hello to everybody. In this video, what I'm going to do, I have actually got a list of what I'm going to do, because there's a few things that I want to talk about in this video, and sometimes if I don't write a list or make some notes, I forget. You know, I finish the live and I think, oh, I was going to talk about that, I was going to talk about that. So first of all, I'm going to read out a comment that one of his relatives made, his sister-in-law made on the Facebook page. And I think it's just, because what I want to do is humanize John. You know, I don't want people just looking at him thinking of him, oh, well, he's some, you know, drug dealer or whatever, he got what he deserved. And, you know, some of the horrible comments that are going around. I want to humanize him and make people see that he is a person that was important to his family, and whatever the circumstances are, that's important. And to me, these things that people are saying about him, I can't see that he could be that bad. I just can't. In my own view, my own feelings, and I've learned to rely on my feelings over the years, because sometimes when I sort of try and deny, my instincts, if you like, it's turned out to be right. So I'm going with my instincts. I think John, for whatever frailties he had, was basically a nice person. So I'm going to read out that. Then we're going to talk about Interpol. Interpol has got involved in this case. So the Guardia, the Spanish police, have obviously reached out to communicate with the Irish police or whoever else is concerned. And when that happens is, obviously they know there's a crime that's been committed and they're reaching out. We're going to look at the Interpol website. We're also going to have a brief look at when Jay Slater's dad, Warren, was calling for Interpol to get involved. Now, of course, Interpol never got involved there, but I think the difference there is, personally, and I know a lot of people don't agree with me, and that's fine, there were no suspicious circumstances. So the police investigated Jay's case. If they would have found that there were suspicious circumstances, this is when Jay was still missing, they would have involved Interpol, but there was no evidence to involve Interpol. Where it's different now with John's case, there is evidence to involve Interpol, and that's exactly what they've done. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Then I'm going to show you how you can make anonymous tips, how the Irish police, the portal that they've set up, where if you've got any information but you're scared, and I wouldn't blame anyone for being scared to give information, because it's a scary thing, isn't it? Someone's been shot and killed. But if anybody has information that could help, apart from the £30,000 reward, just for the decency of helping, but you want to do it anonymously, which is fair enough. I'm going to show you how you can do that to the Irish police. And then we're going to have a look at what Madison's got to say. Now, I don't feel bad about mentioning Madison's name now, because it's been mentioned in all the mainstream media. She also has come out and spoken on her TikToker account. So we're going to look at what she actually has to say about everything. And we're also going to have a look at, the thing about Madison to me is she's so young, isn't she? She's only 19 years old. And I know that's a grown woman, but 19 years old, she's got an OnlyFans account with her partner, Johnny. Anyway, I don't know what to make of Madison, but what I'm going to do is show you the things, and then what she's got to say. We hear it from her own voice, off her own TikTok account, and then you make your own mind up about what Madison knows, doesn't know, what the circumstances are. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about. So first of all, I'm going to say hello to anyone who's already in chat. But as usual, now I've forgotten to put my banners on lately. As usual, I just want to thank you all for watching, for liking, especially subscribing. Please consider subscribing. It's absolutely free. Also, thank you to those of you that are my members. I've got lots of things to talk about in the members live on Thursday. So please consider becoming a member if you want to support my channel. Also, thank you to everyone who's bought me a Ko-fi, PayPal'd me, or sent me a super sticker, or in any way positively supported my channel. Thank you so much. So that's my thanks out the way. I'm going to say hello to everyone who's here at the moment in chat, but I also want to thank people who are just watching. Not everybody likes to actually join in the chat. As always, please keep your comments respectful to everyone. There's some basic rules in chat in my channel. Don't dox yourselves or anybody else. Don't mention other YouTube channels by name unless we're talking about them at the time. Just basically be nice, but my chatters are nice. But I also want to thank my lurkers. I do like to call them lurkers. My lurkers, my watchers, people watching on catch up. Anyone who watches this, thank you. And thank you for caring about John, most importantly. So let's say hello now. As this goes through, I may not have time to say hello to new people coming in because I've got a lot to get through and I need to concentrate on it. So don't be offended if later on, if you come in and I don't acknowledge you, it's not deliberate slur. Hi, David. Hi, Fluffy. Hi, Heather. Hi, Kelly. No, I didn't watch it ever. I can't bear Coronation Street. Awful. For me, sorry, it's not my thing. It's just so contrived. But no, it's not my thing. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. Hi, Moonbeam. Hi, Claire. Now I forgot. That's the trouble when I detract. I know exactly, Claire. Just there's so many bloody. It must be murder being perfect, mustn't it? Must be bloody murder being perfect. Or even if you are perfect, if you've got members of your family who aren't, you still love them. People go off the rails. But anyway, never mind. He's not a serial killer. Hi, Nightbot. Nightbot's popped in there to remind everyone. So, talking about the weather in Spain, anyway, and I'm not right near where all this is going on, but I'm not that far away from it. And I presume they've got similar weather to what I've got, which is currently the computer says no. Computer says it's 15 degrees. It's freezing in the house, as you can see, but bear in mind that I've been ill, and I'm still not 100%. I'm trying to protect my throat. I've got my fingerless gloves on, just trying to keep warm. But it's warmer outside. I mean, it is a sunny day today. I think it's going to be hot today later on because it's only 11:33 at the moment. So I think by 1 o'clock, you might even get a 20-degree day today, which is good, I think, for the searches. Because it's it has been horrible weather. There's been rain, it's been wet and miserable, etc. So it's I think today is going to be a good day as far as searching is concerned. Hi, Maria. Not sure what you mean is old news, but do you know what? Please feel free not to watch. Please, if you're being I don't know, maybe not being horrible, but if you are, just don't watch. It's old news. You know it all. Adios, amiga. Yeah, there you go, David. Albert Steptoe. So actually, I'm going to put my glasses on as well. Well, if I can find them. So I've got these special glasses for the computer because I'm spending a lot of time on the computer. Okay, so where are we going to start? So I've got this list. So the first thing I'm going to read to you is, and I'm going to show you. Now this is on the Facebook group. This is someone called Louise, who I believe is John's partner's sister. And I just think this is important this is important to hear about what kind of person John is, or how his family think of him. And if you've got, you may have family members who maybe aren't, don't do everything they should do, or are a bit, so, you still love them, you still care about them, you still want to find out what's happened to him. He's still got 2 children. I mean, to me, just read not only from family members, but things that I've read from his friends or acquaintances or people that have had contact with him, I just can't think that he's like a bad person. He might be misguided, he might have done things wrong, but is he really a bad person? Anyway, you make your own mind up about that. So this is what she says. John George, I thought I would post something from my perspective growing up with John, as let's say in and out, depending on what mood him and Danielle were in. So I presume Danielle is his partner, brother-in-law. A big balloon, as I'm sure some would say. A funny guy, honestly the cheekiest chap. He would just pop up from nowhere all the time. Like, yo, have something mad to tell you about one of his many adventures, or a story about one of the whatever, I can't do numbers, friends he had. He really was a character, one that everyone knows, and I'm sure everyone will remember. One that treated me like a wee sister and had my back when needed, a good uncle to my oldest son back then, when years were much easier, and just a likeable fella in general. A wee shite too, don't get me wrong, but just so likeable. The only reason I knew John was obviously because of my sister. I first met him when I was 10. My cousins and me all sitting upstairs while Danielle threw a big party and was supposed to be babysitting us. Up comes John introducing himself. We both had our first sons 6 weeks apart, and I used to go and stay with her and John and our babies, and as much as they both melted my head, they were funny, funny times. I remember when he used to train us in the gym, he knew his way around the gym, because of course he was a good boxer when he was young as well, John. Or when he sat with a drink laughing at the madness he would come off with. As years went on and life was lived, them two being them two, I saw less of him. The last time I did, a few months ago, in the back of Danielle's car, looking out with that cheeky smile. He is always smiling on every photo that you see of him. You couldn't say he was moody, whatever other faults he might or might not have. He's always smiling. Telling my toddler he was his Uncle John. I know a lot of people like to comment, oh, they're painting him out to be a big family man, blah, blah. But is one of the truest things about John. I don't claim to be the closest to him, but I do know he really loved his family. He really, really did. Life isn't easy. People have demons. Yeah, but some people don't. There's some perfect people out there, apparently, who don't have any demons, or none of their family have any demons. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you just, honest to God, just must be murder being perfect. If you can't say anything nice, just don't say anything. So, right, sorry, I've lost where I've got to now. Life isn't easy. People have demons, but he really had such a big heart for his family, for my sister and for the two boys. I would be lying if I sat here writing this and said him and my sister had a perfect love story, because it was too far from it. Two headers. The years we all went through with these two, well, we just laugh about it now. They would be better described as best friends. No day would pass John wasn't ringing Danielle 3,565 times, and she wasn't slabbering at him. Lol. One of the last messages. Oh, see how I'm going to get upset now. One of the last messages she has from him is, "You're the woman I love." I can't believe this is happening to him. The words really fail me. The suffering that Billy, Sharon, Darren, Courtney and Caitlin are enduring is so cruel, so wrong. The way everyone who actually knew John is feeling. It's like you could throw up every time you realise this is really happening in real life. I know so many other people would have memories they could write here about John, but I wrote this here now because, again, I just genuinely can't believe this is happening. I can't get the family out of my head. This hell that is happening right now, I thought writing about the way I remember Georgie boy might bring a smile to someone, especially the ones that know him personally. This is the person John was. Remember why we are supporting his family. Remember why we are sharing his face and name. He deserves better than this. His whole family deserve better than this. His two sons deserve better than this. So this is obviously a picture of them when his sons were little. So this is going to be about maybe 8 years ago. I don't know, a little while ago. John looks very young, and this must be Danielle. Yeah. So I just thought that was so poignant because it says everything, doesn't it? You know, at the end of the day, nobody is perfect. And whatever John got involved with, or whatever went wrong, or whatever the situation was, and whatever the reason for whatever's happened to John. I mean, there's so many unknowns. We don't know a motive, not really, do we? What does there have to be a motive? Some people just, you know, I don't know if it was a hit or if it was a deliberate thing, or it was just somebody, you know, who wanted to do that to John or didn't like him. Oh, we just don't know. We don't know all the details. But I like that post because it personalised John. We have to look on it. He is a person, whatever the other situation is. And this is a family, you know, like any other family that is out, and it just, you know, that is out looking for their son to break. They've accepted. Billy has accepted, it seems, that John is dead. Just wants to take him home. He wants to go home. They all want to go home. They don't want to be in a foreign country having to deal with all this. They just want his body. I don't think, you know, then they'll just leave whatever investigation there is to come to the Guardia, to the Interpol, etc. They're not bothered about that. They just wanted to, they're not bothered about the investigation. They just want John. And I'm behind them all the way in that. Okay, so that was the first thing I wanted to read out to you. So let's have a look at this Interpol thing. So what we're going to look at first, we're going to look at what this newspaper, the Sunday Mirror, which is an Irish newspaper, says about it. So, if Interpol have got involved, well, obviously, the Guardia have invited Interpol to get involved, or they've all got together and got, you know, so they know a crime is committed. They don't get Interpol involved for, you know, just for the fun of it. Here we go. So, suspect in John George's disappearance claims he was shot dead as Interpol joins the probe. Now, there's all this talk about, you know, I've been trying not to really mention Johnny and Madison because of the names, but now they're being mentioned all over the mainstream media. They apparently were among the last people to see John George alive when he went to visit them in Alicante last month. Now, they are saying that they've got nothing to do with his actual murder. That they were as shocked as anybody else, and as I say at the end of this video, we're going to be looking at what Madison has to say in her defence. I don't think Johnny's put any videos out, or not that I know of, but you know, they're feeling that they a bit wronged, you know, that they weren't involved in his action. They didn't know he was going to be shot. They thought he was going to be taken to Benidorm, and for whatever reason, whatever happened, he was shot by somebody else. So, here's Riley coming for a cuddle. So Interpol is now, according to the Sunday World, and it's true because I've had a look on, you know, we've had a look at what the Interpol have got to say about it. Interpol is now working with Spanish police to investigate the disappearance and suspected murder. You know, we still don't know for sure, but I think you can more or less 99% certain acknowledge that it's true. Now they're still saying of Belfast man John George in Alicante last month. I still think this is so misleading. It wasn't Alicante. It's like saying, I don't know how to explain it. Because it's Alicante province, not Alicante town, but they keep saying Alicante instead of Torrevieja or Aruela Costa. Anyway, the police service of Northern Ireland has confirmed the inclusion of the International Law Enforcement Agency in correspondence with a solicitor acting for the family of the 37-year-old who went missing in the Costa Blanca on December the 14th. It comes as one of the suspects linked to Mr. George's disappearance made a phone call to the victim's family. I think this is Madison, I presume, or it might have been Johnny, I'm not sure, claiming that the father of two had been shot and left somewhere between Torrevieja and Benidorm. The call alleged that a gun was used to kill Mr. George, and the weapon had been taken away by one of the suspects to clean it. Spanish authorities are currently investigating a number of suspects, all of whom were living in Spain at the time of Mr. George's disappearance, along with a man from the Czech Republic. However, the two main suspects are refusing to reveal the location of his body and are blaming each other for the suspected murder. In the call, which was recorded and heard by the Belfast Telegraph, the suspect states, "You don't understand." Oops, that's jumped. "You don't understand how much I know this needs to come out. I said to whoever, when you left the house, this is Madison. When you left the house, what direction did you drive?" He said he drove towards Torrevieja and then up, but he doesn't know the exact location. The person then claims that on the 10 p.m. on December the 14th, Mr. George, who is referred to as Georgie in the recording, left their apartment uninjured with another man. They claim, excuse me, a few hours later, the man arrived back at their property with a gun and confessed to shooting Mr. George. When whoever came to our house that night, he said, "Georgie didn't make it to Benidorm." We SHIT ourselves. Wonder why he did it though. The motive is difficult, isn't it? Why? Even it's one thing to sort of, injure somebody, even if it's about money or drugs or whatever, but to actually kill somebody, that's very extreme, isn't it? Anyway, he was like, "I've just done that to Georgie." The George family from Twinbrook, sorry, it keeps flicking up, in West Belfast were last contacted by Mr. George on December the 14th, at which time his father Billy told him to come home, but he did not board his flight back to Ireland on December the 18th. And his relatives are currently in the Spanish city. See, that's so misleading. They're not in Alicante. Anyway, never mind. Searching for his body, certain that he was murdered there in mid-December. They were recently warned their lives are in danger from the Southeast Antrim UDA, with John's brother Darren saying they're taking the threat seriously. "We are under threat when we go home. We've already been told that." So it's very dangerous for everybody, I think, involved in this. "We have been told that our lives are in danger when we get home." That's coming from him and whatever gang he's involved in. The police are aware of that. We have a police liaison officer. But, it's not going to stop them staying there and looking for their son, their family member. With what has happened to John, I would take any threat coming from them seriously. I am really concerned about it. Darren believes his brother was lured to Spain for a holiday before Christmas, before he was murdered. Once John got here and knew he was in trouble, he rang home. My dad told him to get on the next flight, and that was the last conversation we had. John was murdered on December the 15th. We were told before we came over that John was shot dead by this man, who is definitely connected to a group. He sent word back home that he had shot John and he was lying in a lemon field. There are so many lemon fields, that's the problem. I mean, people who are out there saying, "Oh yeah, search anything to do with lemons in its name." There's a million places. I mean, okay, you could do that, but you need a grid, like you need to mark off all the different places that you're searching, because There's just loads of them. It's not like, oh, there's one lemon field, go and search that. It'd be like being in the UK and saying, oh, yeah, he's near a river. Search every river. How many rivers are there? You can't, it's a massive area and there are loads of lemon fields. And he did say that people came out to clean up. I'm not sure what that meant. I think if that is true, because quite a while has passed and it's quite feasible that people could have come out and removed John's body and disposed of it in a different way, more efficiently, then I don't think they'd ever find him then. But if he is still lying out in a lemon field or somewhere like that, they have got a chance of finding him, but they've got to do systematic searches. So it comes after it was revealed that a couple who claim they've received 30 death threats. So this is Madison and Johnny, and they are also adult content creators. We're going to have a little look at Madison's Twitter later. It was obviously my age, but she's so young, Madison. She's only 19 years old. And to see sort of the things she's a grown woman, and if she's not being exploited, that's good. But to me, I just look at that, I think it feels like exploitation of a 19-year-old girl. But, I don't know. That's her choice. She's got a choice. She's of age. She's doing it completely voluntarily, and maybe she feels a power in doing it that's given her some financial thing. I just don't know what to think about it, so I'm not going to comment on that. But I'm going to I can't show all of her Twitter account because it just get banned off YouTube. It's very graphic. Amazes me what Twitter allows. It moans about some things, it pulls you up over, saying, a bit like YouTube really, pulls you up over one little thing, and then it allows content like that, which to me is a content that shouldn't be allowed. Because it's very graphic, I think. Anyway, that's maybe that's just the sort of my age group and the generation that I come from. When I was 19, I wasn't doing that. Let's put it that way. So Johnny Smythe, 26, and Madison, 19, were among the last people to see John George alive when he went to visit them in Alicante last month. Miss Allen publicly denied any involvement, sorry, my voice is going, isn't it, in the disappearance of John George in a video posted on social media last week, with Mr. Smythe previously telling the family he did not know his whereabouts. So there's Madison and Johnny. So Sunday Life revealed this week that the pair create explicit adult content on OnlyFans together, some of which was filmed in their Cabaroy pad near Alicante. So Miss Allen advertises the content on social media under the name Maddie Alia Allen, posting dozens of sex images and videos. Yeah, and we're going to look at that later, so I think we'll leave that there, because we're going to look at that. So leading on from that, what do I want to look at next? Let's go to, so if you do have any information, you might have any, and you might be scared to come forward with it, which would be perfectly understandable, wouldn't it? This is the Northern Irish Police website, and they've opened a portal where you can, give any information anonymously. And this is it. So, missing person in Spain. Sorry, I've got Ribena, hot Ribena. Anyway. Missing person in Spain, John George. Public Service of Northern Ireland are assisting Spanish police with enquiries into a missing person from Northern Ireland. John George, also known as John Hardy, in December 2024. But it feels like a long time ago now, doesn't it, already? Details of incident. Police are appealing for any information the public may have in respect of a missing person from Northern Ireland. John George went missing in Spain in December 2024, and Spanish police are currently investigating the circumstances around this. And, that's what I've been saying for ages. They're definitely investigating it. They've got Interpol involved. They're just never going to give any information up until the day comes that maybe they arrest someone for it. And even then they've got the court case to come. They still won't give much information. That's the way the Spanish police work. But that doesn't mean to say they're not doing anything. They're very efficient. So we are interested in mobile phone videos, CCTV footage, social media videos and photos, which may have been of relevance to the investigation and may assist the police in Spain. Submit your information here. Or if you want to speak to someone, you can contact the incident room, or you can contact the independent charity Crime Stoppers anonymously, and there's a number for that. So if you've got something to submit, let's go through. So if you want to remain anonymous, please enter anon into the mandatory field. So you can. Thing is, so you'd put anon, so you've got forename, surname, address, email. You'd have to put anon in all those. How do you prefer we make contact with you? Well, you've got to put something of how they can get it. So an anonymous, a Gmail or an anonymous email probably would be the best place. Best way to get them to create a false account. What do you want to tell us? And if you've got any photos, videos, etc., please attach. So there you go. So if you do know something and you're scared, and you know what, I think that's perfectly understandable. You would be scared. I'd be scared. Anyone would be scared of even getting involved in this case in any way. It is scary. But the thing is, this guy needs to be found. It's not about the investigation about someone being prosecuted. For me, all I'm concerned about is finding John. As far as the investigation's concerned, that's for the police to do. I'm not a detective. I'm not a Guardia Civil or a Interpol person. To me, I just want to see this family, just be able to take their son home. That's as far as it goes for me. As far as the investigation as to who did it or blah, 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 that's for the police to deal with. But this family needs some peace to be able to take their son. Their lives are completely put on hold. When are they going to be able to, create? The thing is, life goes on. Much as it doesn't feel like it when you lose someone, it does. Those boys still have to go to school. John's partner still has to carry on with her life. Even John's parents, they've got lives. His grandma, things do carry on, and they have to carry on. But what will help them to carry on? They can't. At the moment, they're in total limbo. They're in a foreign country looking for their dead son. Have a heart, for God's sake. So if you do know anything, you can submit it anonymously here. And that's so important to do for this family. Okay, I'm going to just come back to the chat, make sure you're all right before I go on to the next thing. Okay, you're all okay. We've lost the Maria troll, I think. Adios, amiga. Old news. You go ahead and get some new news. When you've got some new news, can you report it to the Northern Ireland people? Okay, so where am I going now? I'm going to put a couple of windows down so that I'm not confused with all the different windows I've got to look at. Done that. Done that. Okay. So I wanted to have a look at Interpol itself. You know, what does Interpol do? Now, let's have a look. So, of course, Interpol is not only Europe, it's not only, you know, it's all over the world. Literally, if Interpol issue a red notice, let's see what. But if I put it into Spanish, oh no, it's just put it into the language of Spanish. Let me put it back into English again. So the issue, what they do basically, I can't seem to find where it says what they do. Here we are. So what is Interpol? So imagine you are the victim of a crime committed by someone from another country. How can the police catch the person? So our full name is the International Criminal Police Organization, and we are an intergovernmental organization. We have 196 member countries, and we help police in all of them to work together to make the world a safer place. To do this, we enable them to share and access data on crimes and criminals, and we offer a range of technical and operational support. So it's run, so it's, where is the headquarters are in Lyon, it says. Do they mean Lyon in France, or there is a Lyon in Spain as well, I think? But it's probably not spelled Lyon. So you've got the General Secretariat, and it's run by the Secretary General, headquarters in Lyon, the Global Complex for Innovation in Singapore, and several satellite offices in different regions. And in each country, a national central bureau provides a central point of contact for the General Secretariat and other national central bureaus. The General Assembly is our governing body, and it brings all countries together once a year to take decisions. I've always wanted to do so many videos to do. I'd like to look into this a bit more, because I do know cases that this is. Look at the network here, all these places all over the world. It's brilliant, really, isn't it? You know, and I think this is how David Knežević, who people who follow my channel will know, the guy who came for, you know, that was 4 different countries worked together to catch him. So he's originally from Serbia. He lived in America. He went to Spain to murder his poor wife, who was from Colombia. So there were 4 countries involved in his apprehension. America, Colombia, Spain and Serbia all worked together to catch him. And it felt like nothing was happening with him until one day he was arrested, and he'll be facing trial this year. So, you know, it does work, you know. So the thing is, Stephen, I know what you're saying, but he didn't live by the sword. He never killed anybody. What is this? Live by the sword, die by the sword. Who did he shoot then? You know, he got involved in bad things. And I tell you, I don't know if you've got children, but if your children have never got involved, gone off the rails, done anything wrong, then you're very lucky. But anyway, you know, I'm not here to judge him because, you know, I don't know enough about him. But certainly, as far as his family's concerned, all this live by the sword makes it sound as if he was out there shooting people. He never shot anybody. He was never involved with guns. He's not a saint, as his family said. But I just don't get that at all. I think that's a very unchristian way of thinking. But anyway, there you go. You're all entitled to your own opinions, but I think anyone who says that they've never had a family member go off the rails and know how it feels to be out of control. But, what did he do? Well, he hasn't ever shot anybody, has he? So you don't know anything about him either, to be honest. You don't know the full story of John, so as don't I. So all I know is his family is suffering. That's all that matters to me. And a man is dead, of course. That matters as well. So they do a lot of things, Interpol. It's brilliant that we've got Interpol. So they provide a range of expertise and services to our member countries. We manage 19 police databases with information on crimes and criminals, accessible in real time to countries. We offer investigative support such as forensics analysis and assistance in locating fugitives around the world, etc., etc. So it's very interesting. I'm not going to read out the whole thing because I've got a lot of other things that I want to go through. So Interpol, good. No, Interpol is good. And the fact that the Guardia are working with Interpol means that they are investigating, means that they are looking into this case, and that can only be a good thing, can't it? Okay, so now we're going to look. Where are we going now? Oh, yeah. So I think what I wanted to look at, because I think it's relevant, because remember the Jay Slater case, which has got a lot of similarities, except, regardless of what some people think, I don't think there weren't any, because if the Guardia would have thought, no matter what people think, the Guardia, they're corrupt and it was a cover up and all this, there's a lot of conspiracy theories, mainly sort of, propagated by a lot of TikTokers and YouTubers who just talking without evidence and making things up. Jay Slater's dad called for Interpol to get involved. But of course they never did because there wasn't enough evidence to support it. I wish people could see this, that if there was evidence. Now this article was written when Jay was still missing. Now I understand that when Jay was still missing, nobody really knew, or people didn't think they knew what had happened to him. So this article was made on the 8th of July. Jay Slater's father calls for Interpol to get involved in the search for his teenage son after claiming the Spanish police probe into his son's disappearance stinks. Now, I'd be interested to hear from Warren. Does he still feel that now Jay has been found and, of course, no further action was taken? I think can draw similarities here because this case has been investigated by the police and they have called in Interpol, whereas Jay's case was investigated and they didn't. And I think they didn't because there was no evidence. You do need evidence, you can't just sort of, prosecute someone without evidence. Or, do you see what I'm saying is, when people talk about Ayub or whatever, but where's the evidence? What you're gonna charge him for if there's no evidence? You've got to be realistic like that. So let me just read this article out to you. As I say, I know a lot of people will be have frightened to come back to the chat because a lot of people will, I know, still think that Jay's disappearance or his death was suspicious. Personally, I don't, but there you go. Missing raver Jay Slater's father has called for Interpol to get involved in the search for his son, who has now been missing for 3 weeks on the Spanish island of Tenerife. So this article, it looks like, was just before he was found. And desperate, and he was desperate. He was another father, just looking for his son. This was another family that were torn apart because Jay had a past, the horrible things that people were saying on social media. Just awful. Why do people do, why can't you just have some Christian charity for a family that are missing their son? He had a past. When he was 16, he got involved with things he shouldn't have got involved with. Maybe he should have been, oh, well, live by the sword, die by the sword, hey? You know, it's just ridiculous to think like that. People do get involved in things. And all of us, God, if I think about sort of not, you know, I never murdered anyone, but I did things when I was young that I was lucky to be alive now. We all get involved in things, and some people go a bit further. Sometimes it's the environment that they live in. You know, you've got to bear in mind where some people are brought up and they get involved in things because they always get to a point. I think teenagers always get to a point where their friends are more important than what you're saying to them or what you're trying to, and you just have to, and so you just have to hope and pray that they're going to get involved with the right people. And if they get involved with the wrong people, you have to hope and pray that they come through it unscathed, you know, that some way, like Jay did, he was making a new life for himself. He'd had his past. He had his past and he paid his dues, or whatever society decided, the courts decided were his dues that he had to pay. And he was making a life for himself. He was 19. He was on the verge of becoming a productive member of society. So, you know, I think you have to cut people a little bit of slack. Now, it's different if they carry on being, you know, doing bad things through their life and do really nasty things. I'm not trying to defend anyone who does something bad. I'd be the first person. If it turns out that John George has shot someone himself, well, he's got his karma, hasn't he? But I don't think he has. You know, so this live by the sword. What sword? Anyway, never mind. So desperate Warren Slater spoke out after spending more than 6 hours searching a mountainside with Jay's brother Zach in searing 25-degree temperatures as they continued their desperate hunt for him. So remember, I mean, God, how will we ever forget this case? I mean, the torture that this family went through. So, as I say again, going to a foreign country, a place where the police speak a different language, not understanding the way things were, being helped by people that really weren't that helpful, you know, all those kind of things going on. And then in the middle of all that, receiving like fake ransom reports. You know, Jay's mum, Debbie, reviled, you know, for opening a GoFundMe. People, you know, who didn't even donate to the GoFundMe, whinging about the money. It's nothing to do with them, etc., etc. All the hate that now they suffered a lot of, they had a lot of love from people as well. I know that, but they suffered so much hate. It's just inconceivable to me how people could do that. Even if you thought it, just you don't have to say it. You don't have to make it worse for a family that are missing their son. Anyway, so police and mountain rescue teams using dogs, drones and a helicopter spent 13 days looking for him before calling the search off on June the 30th, and they've dismissed the men as irrelevant. Now, you know, they've dismissed the men as irrelevant because they were irrelevant. So Warren said at the time, we need to, as a full family, do a proper press conference and ask the British authorities to help. He's a British citizen, get Interpol involved. Well, fair enough. Get the British authorities to help, but they tend to not interfere unless the police ask them to. And that, again, about the Interpol thing. The Interpol won't get involved unless the Guardia are saying to them, look, there's something suspicious here. So it's just us. I haven't got a team. I mean, they were trying to search on their own, weren't they? But what they didn't know at the time was the Guardia were searching. I don't know who was interpreting for them, who was helping them with the Guardia. Same here with this case. The Guardia, you have to deal with them in a certain way. And sometimes, you know, I just don't know who was interpreting. I think that it has got better. Whoever's interpreting for John George's family has got better, because you can tell from the fact they've toned down the Facebook page, etc. They're taking the advice of the police, and that'll be whatever interpreter they've got now is helping them to deal with the Guardia as well. So he said, we need a team to come over here and find out for us what the police are doing and what we need to do. And didn't that LBT help them? And then, of course, they got that search team in from another European country. But in the meantime, it turned out the Guardia were quietly searching, and they found Jay. And Jay had an accident. As much as people want to deny it, there's no other evidence to suggest anything else. Jay had decided that he was going to try and walk. When he realised he couldn't, he tried to find his way back. He was lost. He's blasted over after 3 days of raving. He had no water. He had no thing on his phone. He phoned his friend to say he was struggling, and the police were happy with that. That there was nothing else to know. I think Jay would have tried to get back to the road, but he got lost. Warren and the people that were searching, they got lost a few times. It's just a terrain that you just don't understand. Anyway, we know what happened ultimately, and of course Interpol never got involved. There's been no charges brought because there are no charges to find, in my opinion. So I just want to show that, because I just want to show how now the Interpol are involved, and that's openly that they're involved. It just, they weren't involved in Jay's case because there was no case to answer. As much as people sometimes want to believe there is. Yeah, Holland, that's where they were from. Hi, Yvonne. Okay, so where are we going now? Let me... So do I look more intelligent with my glasses? So it's a joke, sorry. Well, you've got to have a little bit of a joke. When you're dealing with true crime, it's there's always a bit of black humour comes into it, or dark humour, maybe I should say. Right, where are we now? Oh, let me get my list. This is why I need a list, because once I start off pontificating about things. I did the anonymous tips. So we're going to come on to Madison. Now, I'm just going to check on the Facebook page that nothing new has gone up. Let's see, because another day has dawned. They'll be out searching today, and you always hope every day will be the day. I can only presume the Guardia are searching as well, but I don't know if they are or not. Just need to find him. Find the place where he is, if possible. So we're going to look at Madison now, and she has said, she's made a couple of, over the time, she has made a couple of statements. I can't make up my mind what I think about Madison. To me, I just look at Madison, I just see this little girl, and I know she's not a little girl, she's 19, she's an adult, she's doing this adult content and that. But I don't know what her parents think about that, because if that was my daughter, you wouldn't be happy, would you, if your 19-year-old daughter was doing that? I don't know. Would you? But is she, or should I be thinking in a different? I mean, let me know what you think in comments. Should I be thinking in a different way? Think she's a 19-year-old woman, not a 19-year-old girl. She's doing what she wants to do. Should I be thinking about that? But I can't think of it like that. To me, I think she's being exploited, but maybe not. But the first video we're going to look at is a couple of things she said on TikTok. And again, she's made these publicly, so I don't feel bad now about showing them. I am better.
I'm sick.
I'm not 100% better, but I'm okay. I'll survive. Okay, so here she is, Madison, and again, I say, when you look at her, you just think, oh God, she looks about 12, and there she is, all over OnlyFans doing God knows what. But I just find it a little bit sad. But that's her choice. She's a grown woman. She makes her own choices. So Madison has her say.
I have not been hiding or fleeing. I've been where I am right now. I'm sure it's known. because it's all over social media. I'm not far away from my house. I'm not far away, so I'm not. So I'm just coming over on here to clear up some rumors that I'm sick of hearing. I'm not running. I'm not fleeing. The place back home has just advised me to stay here until it is safe. I can't go back to Northern Ireland because my whole family is in danger, and even more so me. I've 30 death threats back home, and I'm getting threatened over here too. So the police advised me to stay safe. And while I'm here staying safe, I have told the family every single bit of information they know. So yous are only going after my family and after me still because the family have not let yous know that all their information that they know has came from me. So just letting yous know that they only know what they know because
Now, I know this is the way of the world right now, that people do their TikToks or their Instagrams and it's all about the way they look, but it's all this tossing back of the hair and everything. You're talking about a man who's been murdered. Why would you even care what you look like? But of course, that's what she does. That's her job, isn't it? If you like, you can't. When someone's on OnlyFans, or I don't decry people who are doing OnlyFans or whatever. I think anyone, if they can find a way, that they can make money, they can look at that as their job. And I do know of lots of young girls who do it. When I think about it now, friends of mine, their daughters and that, who sometimes tell me things, maybe too much information that they probably wouldn't tell the mum, but they tell me. And I'm always sort of shocked. Why am I shocked? Is it just it's probably just because I'm old. I don't know. I think it's her age. It's just the fact she was 19. Like if she was 26 doing this, it wouldn't feel so bad. She just seems like a child to me to be doing it. She's not that far from being a child. How is she coming to doing that? Anyway, so the thing is, she's making a statement about a murdered guy, and it's all about her appearance, because that's the way of the world now, isn't it? People moaned in the Nicola Bulley case about Emma. She always had her eyelashes on and this, that, and the other. But maybe that's just the way of the world now. Is it all so much about appearance that people won't go on and sort of just, she wouldn't just come on like, she doesn't look like she's got much makeup on, but it's all about hair and this, that, and the other. What is going on and why is she even doing this? Because I don't think the Guardia would be happy about this. Now, as we listen to this, you'll see she's saying she's in a safe house and that and blah, 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 blah. But surely the Guardia wouldn't be happy about one of their main witnesses, making TikToks about it. I just feel I'm living in the wrong era. It's like, God, I'm glad I wasn't her age. Put it this way, I'm glad I'm not 19 in this era. When I was 19, I was so innocent, to be honest, until I was about 19. That's when I started becoming a little bit more sort of outgoing, etc. But it's not only that, it's, if everything you did when you were 19 was plastered all over social media, God, you wouldn't do anything, would you? Thank God there's no photos and videos from that time. I wasn't a saint. I'm not saying I was a saint. I bloody wasn't. But when you see looking at her Twitter account, honest God, I really had my eyes open. And she just seems so young. She just seems so young. I don't know.
me. And they've not let you know that the information has came from me. That's fully fine. I understand why. That's fine. It doesn't bother me, but it's bothering me that you are all after my family when I'm helping, and we all are helping, massively helping. The family's just not letting them know that. The British place, they know I'm helping too. They know I'm nothing to do with it. Hence the reason they're keeping everyone safe that I know and everyone around me. But right in this minute in time, no one's safe, especially me, until John's found. So I pray he's found this week. I really do pray he is found this week so my life can go back to normal and we can go back to our dogs and everything is normal. But the other rumor I want to clear up is my dog's not abandoned at all. Never in my life would I do that. We only moved house for our dogs, 6 XL bullies in that apartment you're seeing online, a 2 bedroom apartment with 6 dogs. No. So that new villa you're seeing is where the dogs are with the dog minder.
So this thing about the dogs, there was, a thing that she'd abandoned the dogs, and then there was, were they breeding the dog? Oh, that's all very confusing. She's saying they were, I mean, I can see that they would have had to move out of their apartment because has been a lot of hate to, whatever you think about Madison or not, there's been a lot of hate. If you were in that position where you lived somewhere and people knew where you lived and there was all that hate towards you, of course you would move. You wouldn't, you would be scared. And I think what she's saying here is the hate or the death threat she's getting are from supporters of John George, aren't they? So that's why she's saying that her and Johnny are in a safe house, not because they're scared of the person who's killed John, but because they're scared of the people who support John and are looking, for family and friends, worried about them. So they've moved. I don't think they're far away from where they were living. Well, she actually says that. But anyway, I honestly don't know what to make of Madison.
The dog minder unfortunately left at 11 a.m. I have cameras all around the house. I watch. She left at 11 a.m. At 11:44, they came around, smashed my whole house up, and the dogs got out. The dogs are now in safe hands because the police have been looking after them, and the police have been chasing them about the place because you have let them out. You let them out, so they did. My dog, all the dogs were going to be killed yesterday by 1 o'clock if I did not give away information. But if I knew where John was, I could make this family at peace. I could put this family in peace. And I could also.
Wonder what she means by that. All the dogs were going to be killed yesterday by 1 o'clock if we didn't give information. She talked about the Guardia there that was saying that. Believe me, no matter what anyone thinks, if anyone is on my Twitter account, you'll see I often share things from the Guardia about dogs. They are animal lovers. They're not going to kill those dogs for no reason. Having said that, XL bullies, they are like a dangerous breed here in Spain, just as they are everywhere else at the moment. And I don't know what they would make of that. It'd depend. I mean, I don't think they've done any. They haven't hurt. The dogs haven't hurt anyone, have they? So I doubt very much that the Guardia would put the dogs down unless it was a last resort that they had nowhere else for them to go. And they wouldn't put them down. They'd put them in the Pereira, like the dog pound, and then the dog pound. They do eventually put them down if nobody claims them or adopts them. But laws about dogs have really tightened up over the last few years in Spain, about treating dogs properly. And there's a lot of animal rights now. It never used to be, but it is now. Spain has caught up on a lot of things. And the Guardia, the posts that they put out, Policia Nacional, Policia Local, etc. Lots of they're always warning people not to mistreat animals. There's a big thing about it. It's a big thing. So I don't think they would have put them down. So I don't know what this is that she's saying, that they were going to kill them before 1 o'clock if I didn't give out information. Does she mean the Guardia? Or is she talking about people that were making threats against the dogs? It's not clear. Yeah, they're supposed to be muzzled if they're out and about here as well, Vonnie. But of course, those dogs weren't out and about. They were in the yard, like in the area, the patio area. They weren't out on the street, so they wouldn't have to be muzzled there. But yeah, if you have an XL bully, it's not the only breed that you have to muzzle. I can't remember, Rottweilers, etc. They have to be, or they're supposed to be muzzled. Also, all your dogs now in Spain, I don't know if it's the case in the UK or not, you have to, it's a legal requirement that you have insurance on your dog in case they attack anybody. So, to cover if they attack anybody or anybody else's dog. That is a legal requirement now. Your dogs have to be insured. What do they call it? Liability insurance. That's something that was brought in not that long ago, actually, about a year ago, which had never been before. So they've also brought in a law that landlords are not allowed to say no pets. So if someone's renting a place and they're saying no pets, well, they can't now legally say that. Pets cannot be refused. Things like that. So there's quite a lot of laws that have been brought in favour of dogs. I've definitely noticed that they're getting better with the fireworks as well. People complaining about it more. I mean, dogs are popular in Spain. You've got the thing is, the people that don't look after their dogs in Spain are the hunters. The hunters, they don't care about their dogs, but that's only the same in Britain, isn't it? With the farmer, I'm not saying no farmers care about their dogs, but it's like when people look on dogs as a tool, as opposed to a pet. So the hunters out here, they do treat their dogs terribly. So they have their dogs through the hunting season. When the hunting season ends, they don't want to feed them for the rest of the year until the next hunting season. So that's a nightmare when that happens. There's loads of them. Well, if they're lucky, they get abandoned. If they're not lucky, they get hung from trees. It's disgusting the way the hunters treat their dogs. But that's not how normal, your average Spanish person, they love their dogs. There's a lot of them have dogs. They tend to like little dogs more, I'd say, but when I say like little dogs more, they tend to have more because they have them in smaller spaces. And then if they've got like more land, they'll have bigger dogs. In general, but you can't generalize, can you? Because everyone's different. But yeah, if they've got XL bullies, though, if they were out and about, they would need to be muzzled. But of course, they wouldn't need to be muzzled in their own property. They definitely wouldn't need to be muzzled there.
Have my family get their own life back and be able to stay in their own houses, and I can also have my life back and go back around to my house and back around to my dogs. But I don't know that information, and Billy, everyone else in the family, all know the information I know. So they're keeping it from you, obviously, because it is their family member. And the information will be put out there when they feel like it. I asked them if they wanted me to tell the Spanish police what I told them, and they said yes. So the Spanish police were wrong. And I'm also waiting on them ringing me back just to ask more. They don't want to meet up with me because they know that I'm in this safe place staying here until John is found. No dogs are abandoned. No one's fleeing the country. That's it. Hopefully John is found this week. Please say a prayer for his family. That's all.
I think that's important that she said that because, there was a lot of talk. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate. Initially, it was talk that, she'd fled the country and Johnny, her boyfriend, had fled the country. And they haven't. It's the other guy, isn't it? There's other people that are prime movers, if you like, or prime suspects. And it is possible, that they don't know exactly where, maybe she is trying to help. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate. I hope she is. I hope she's not trying to play with the family and give false things. I just think about Madison. I think she's 19 years old and she's got embroiled in this. Well, this is what I'm trying to say about people making mistakes. I hope in 10 years' time, Madison will have, will she be looking back on this and thinking, oh, why did I get involved in all that? How did I get involved in that? People make mistakes when they're young. And it all depends where it goes from here, doesn't it? Where will, if in another 10 years, Madison's still, getting involved with things she shouldn't get involved with when she should know better. But I think it's difficult at 19 to know better, isn't it? But I just, just, and then I look at Madison, and I know she probably wouldn't appreciate. I'm sure if Madison was watching me saying, "Oh, look at her, she just looks like a little girl," she'd probably thinking, "Oh, you silly old cow, you know, I'm a grown woman, I can do what I want." I would have been like that at her age. Oh, don't tell me what to do. But she is a child, but she just doesn't know it yet. You don't realise that, do you, till you get older, and you look back and you think, "Oh God, yeah, I was young and foolish." But at the time, you think you know it all, don't you? So nobody can tell you what to do.
But at this moment in time, I'm trying to protect myself from everybody out there and my family back home, and the place of protecting them from all using on social media, not believing me and not believing the family. So that's it. That's all I've got to say. No dogs are abandoned. No one's fleeing Spain, and everyone is only here to help. That's it.
So there you go. Oh, there's another video. There's another video. Let me put a picture over this.
Yes, your mummy told me up.
This is different.
Yeah, everyone calls him like this assassin thing and everything. And he runs all, like, it used to be like running this man called Sam. He runs the whole of the Cabaret Strip. He used to run about with him, and then Moroccans would take.
No, I just want to say some of the things she's saying. You know, about this guy supposedly called Sam who runs the whole of this, you know, she is taking a chance with this because, you know, she is talking about people that probably are. I'm not saying Sam's dangerous, I don't know, but did she, this is another thing of her naivety, because did she not realise she was being recorded? You know, did she not realise she was being recorded when she was saying these things? You know, you've got to be careful, haven't you? But no, I just I'm a bit speechless about this girl, and yeah, it does remind me of Lucy in the Jay Slater case. Yvonne, now she was accused of this, that, and the other. You know, sometimes young girls like this, they just get involved with the wrong person. Anyway,
Your head off, just an oven. So that's why I've waited until I know me and John are safe and away from Michael. Because I know Michael's saying he doesn't even know what we're talking about, so he's just trying to cover his own back.
Yeah. Go back.
But, what do you call it? That night, they did actually get stopped by the police. I'm the only reason I'm actually ringing you, telling you, is because I've texted Michael all day, begging him to just tell you the truth, and he hasn't texted me back or even opened the messages. And my mummy and Dawn are just in a state, and I know I'm away from Michael.
now, yeah, she does say that night apparently they got stopped by the police and then were waved on. And I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, you know, because I think I've told you many times, the Spanish police are all around. It's very hard. This is what makes me think that they wouldn't have wanted to, you know, travel with a body in the car or whatever for any length of time, because the Spanish police will stop you for anything, and there's loads of them. It's not a country where there's not many police, especially late at night. There's loads of what's the word, checks. You know, they might be checking to see if you've drank alcohol, or there might be a document check, or maybe they're just there and they're bored and they've got nothing else to do, and they'll just stop you just for the hell of it, or maybe your light's not working, or, you know, they'll stop you for anything. They don't need a reason to stop you. And people get stopped often by the police here. So apparently they had been stopped by the police. Imagine that. Were they really? This is while John was still alive. Stopped by the police. And then the police waved them on, and then he went on to kill John. So I was trying to think about that. You know, you can think what sort of areas. I mean, the police are on roundabouts generally in Spain. So anywhere that, if they're looking for lemon fields, you know, and of course there's loads of them, but then they want to be checking just off roundabouts where police make stops. So, you know, if they can talk to local people from the areas that, you know, supposed to have been taken in from Torrevieja to Benidorm, they'll along that main road. The police then tend to be on roundabouts, so you need some sort of referencing as to where there's roundabouts with lemon groves nearby. You know, and they have to. Thing is, if they have to go through all of them, there's a lot to go through, but they have to go through them logistically. You know, and I personally think that's exactly what the Guardia will be doing. They'll be looking for John with their knowledge of the surroundings, etc. And I still think maybe it will be the Guardia that find John, if anybody does. Their search teams. Anyway, I don't care who finds him as long as someone does.
So I'm fine now.
Yeah.
But that night, they did get stopped by the police. They did get stopped by the police. Johnny's car only got searched, and then he was let go. And then John and Mike drove off. And then Mike showed up at our house later on that night with the thing. And he was sitting himself and he didn't know what to do. And Johnny shit himself too. Johnny was like, mate, what the fuck did you bring out to my house and all for and all this, Alex? And then Johnny was scared for Michael being caught, so Johnny was like, give me the thing, and Michael said no. So Michael will actually have it, and like either in his apartment or he threw it away or he took it back with him. So we did, and the only reason he didn't know we done it is because he was like not boasting, but because he's an army man, he was saying about how big the shot was.
Right, yeah.
What?
Can you try? Do you have any? Will he tell you any idea of like a close place to get to him? Do you know what I mean?
To Michael?
No, for John.
No, John. No, I genuinely don't know. You see, Michael actually picked the place to meet. Michael texted Johnny and says, can you come up here and meet me and John? Like, Johnny actually thought he was getting set up because as soon as Johnny pulled up at this place with John's stuff, the police were there. So Johnny was like, right, they're going to take from me. But then they were free to go. And then but like that exact location, Michael will have pinpointed the like location and sent it to Johnny for a meeting point to give him his stuff. But then that, I don't think he would actually be there because the police would have waited a wee bit and let them all drove off first. So I am assuming, but it would be close to wherever wherever the police stopped him. That's what I'm saying to Michael. Please just give me a location where the police that he stopped you. And he's saying the police didn't even stop them. But I'm saying, Michael, the family already knows the police have stopped you. Like, just please tell me where the stopped you because it could be it's too close. I'll send you the screenshot or whatever to Michael.
Where did Michael pin drop for Johnny to meet him?
Like, for the stuff?
Aye.
It was like, like, see that circle I sent the drawing of the map?
Aye, but Madison, that's
literally anywhere in that, like I was looking on the maps and zooming in and seeing if I could even see like anything, like no, but apparently it was a building site, the construction site, but apparently there was workers there. Like the buildings were just being built, a building was just being built.
So that's interesting. So she says it was near a construction site as well and that workmen were there. So apparently it was from the Torrevieja, just past Torrevieja, construction site. They got stopped by the police and workmen were there. How would workmen won't be there at 10 o'clock at night? No way in a million years that there would be workmen there at 10 o'clock at night. If that's when it, maybe they start early, so they could have been there from 7 in the morning, but definitely there would not have been any workmen there at 10 o'clock at night. Even if it, it was maybe it was a construction site nearby. You would set there's construction sites everywhere, there's cranes everywhere, but there's no way that there would have been workmen there. This is supposed to be in the evening, isn't it?
Here, and see the house that Daniel and Lewis is living in?
Yeah.
Is there a chance John's body could be around here?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Right.
And I promise tonight that apartment couldn't even be a crime scene. Like, nothing happened in that house at all.
So she's clear, but again, you take from it what you will, because Lucy said a lot of things, but she unfortunately seems to say a lot of different things. But she's saying that nothing happened in that apartment at all. Johnny was taken out of the apartment. Yeah. I don't know, Yvonne, if she said drop the stuff or not. She's maybe. I'll rewind it a bit. Rewind, there you go, I'm showing my age. She said that this guy, Michael, turned up at the house. Well, she didn't mention it by name, but I think she was talking about a gun, because she said that Johnny said, why have you brought that to my house? Let's just listen to that one more time. But yeah, I don't know exactly what she says.
See that circle I sent the dawn of the map?
I bet Madison, that's
literally anywhere in there. Like I was looking on the maps and zooming in and seeing if I could even see like anything. Like no, but apparently it was a building site, the construction site. But apparently there was workers there. Like the buildings were just being built. A building was just being built.
Here, and see the house that Daniel and Lewis is living in.
Yeah.
Is there a chance John's body could be around here?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Right.
And I promise tonight that apartment couldn't even be a crime scene. Like nothing happened in that house at all.
Right, dead on. See,
and also I've seen the things about fireworks. I genuinely think that they could have been too far away from any of our neighbours. Like I didn't even, you wouldn't have heard it. It was too far away. I'd say 40.
So then she's saying, because remember it was the Guardia who said that. It was the Guardia who said that they thought that the noise of the shooting had been covered up by fireworks from the fiesta. But she's saying that it was she thinks where it happened was too far away from the apartment. But then to be honest, I don't know that they said it was in the apartment, did they? I don't know. But there was fiestas going on. So the thing is, when you shoot someone, I would imagine, I don't know, because I've never shot anyone. I hope I never hear anyone being shot. But it's noisy, I would imagine. So it doesn't matter where they were. Surely he's not going to shoot him, though, in like a public place where there's workmen around on a construction site. I don't believe that. There'd be no workmen about on a construction site at 10 o'clock at night in the winter. They just wouldn't. So, but I think it's possible that wherever they were, because it was fiesta, whatever fiesta it was, I'm going to have a look in a minute, actually. I think it was it the Dia de la Constitution? They think he died on the 15th. I'm going to have a look, see what fiestas were going on. But yeah, it's very confusing. The trouble with what Lucy's saying, Lucy, I'm getting it mixed up with the Jay Slater case there. The trouble with what Maddie is saying is that she does say a lot of conflicting things. And actually, it's worse for the family to say conflicting things than to say nothing, because, they're getting conflicting pinpoints a bit. As they say, they're being sent on wild goose. Better to say nothing than to lead them astray deliberately. But is she just like a puppet being told what to say? Maybe.
3 minutes away from our house.
About 40 minutes away from your house. Madison, do me a favour. Try and get, because see as soon as we get John's body, we're out of here. The fuck.
Yeah.
Out of here.
Yeah.
Go on. But Madison, I'm being honest with you here, love, and yes, your mummy told me out.
Yeah, everyone calls him like this assassin thing and everything. And he runs all, like, it used to be like running this man called Sam. He runs the whole of the Cabaret Strip. He used to run about with him, and then Moroccans would just take your head off just for nothing. So that's why I've waited until I know me and John are safe and away from Michael. Because I know Michael's saying he doesn't even know what we're talking about, so he's just trying to cover his own back.
Yeah. Go back.
But, what do you call it? That night, they did actually get stopped by the police. I'm the only reason I'm actually ringing you telling you because I've texted Michael all day begging him to just tell you the truth, and he hasn't texted me back or even opened the messages. And my mummy and Dawn are just in a state, and I know I'm away from Michael, so I'm fine now.
Yeah.
But that night they did get stopped by the police. They did get stopped by the police. And his car only got searched, and then he was let go. And then John and Mike drove off, and then Mike showed up at our house later on that night with the thing, and he was sitting himself and he didn't know what to do. And Johnny shit himself too. Johnny was like, "Mate, what the fuck did you bring out to my house and all for and all this, Alex?" And then Johnny was scared for Michael being caught, so Johnny was like, "Give me the thing," and Michael said no. So Michael still actually has it, and like either in his apartment or he threw it away or he took it back with him. So we did, and the only reason he didn't know we done it is because he was like not boasting, but because he's an army man, he was saying about how big the shot was.
Right. Yeah.
What?
Can you try? Do you have any?
You know, you feel like you can hear someone in the background telling her what to say or whatever. I do feel sorry for Madison because she's a 19-year-old girl at the end of the day. And what's she going to do? You know, you can criticize her, but what's she going to do? You know, she probably feels vulnerable too.
Will he tell you any idea of like a close place to get to him? Do you know what I mean?
To Michael?
No, for John.
No, John, no, I genuinely don't know. You see, Michael actually picked the place to meet. Michael texted Johnny and says, "Can you come up here and meet me and John?" Like Johnny actually thought he was getting set up because as soon as Johnny pulled up at this place with John's stuff, the police were there. So Johnny was like, "Right, they're coming to take from me." But then they were free to go. And then but like that exact location, Michael will have pinpointed the like location and sent it to Johnny for a meeting point to give him his stuff. But then that I don't think he would actually be there because the police would have waited a wee bit and let them all drove off first. So I am assuming, but it would be close to wherever wherever the police stopped him. That's what I'm saying to Michael. Please just give me a location where the police said he stopped you. And he's saying the police didn't even stop them. But I'm saying, Michael, the family already knows the police have stopped you. Like, just please tell me where the stopped you because it could be it's the closer. I'll send you the screenshot or whatever to Michael.
Where did Michael pin drop for Johnny to meet him?
Like for the stuff.
Aye.
It was like like see that circle I sent the drawing of the map.
Aye, but Madison, that's
literally anywhere in there. Like I was looking on the maps and zooming in and seeing if I could even see like anything. Like no, but apparently it was a building site, the construction site. But apparently there was workers there. Like the buildings were just being built. A building was just being built.
Here and see the house that Daniel and Lewis is living in.
Yeah.
Is there a chance John's body could be around here?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Right.
And I promise tonight that apartment couldn't even be a crime scene. Like nothing happened in that house at all.
Right, dead on. See,
and also I've seen the things about fireworks. I genuinely think that this would have been too far away from any of our neighbours. Like I didn't even, like you wouldn't have heard it. It was too far away. I'd say 40 minutes away from our house.
About 40 minutes away from your house. Madison, do me a favour. Try and get, because see as soon as we get John's body, we're out of here. The fuck.
Yes.
Out of here.
Yeah.
Go on. But Madison, I'm being honest with you here, love, and I'm. Yes, your mummy told me that.
Yeah, everyone calls him like this assassin thing and everything, and he runs up like it used to be like.
Okay, so that's the end of that video that we, and it was if you want, I'm sort of a bit speechless because I just don't know what to make of Madison. That's all. I don't, to me, I just look at just like a little kid talking. Sorry, Madison. You might think you're a big grown up and that, but you're not. You're just a little girl. I'm sure your parents feel the same. Yeah. Well, I'm saying that, and now we're just going to have a quick look. I'm not going to look at it much. We're going to have a look at Madison's Twitter, because of course she's on the OnlyFans with Johnny, her boyfriend, he's a bit older. He's in his, 25 or something like that. So that's a big difference at that age, isn't it, really? She's just a little girl. I know I keep saying that, but that's how it occurs to me. I'm sure there's some of you out there who have got daughters who are 19 and wouldn't expect to see their daughters the way that you're going to see Madison in a minute. This is what she's doing with Johnny. She is an OnlyFans, more than an OnlyFans model. There's very, very graphic content on her Twitter account. Never mind on her OnlyFans. So I can't show most of the things that are on her Twitter account publicly on YouTube, because they'd be straight there, whinging about me putting on her content, so it's like, these are the best, I'm going to show the ones that are really innocent. So imagine that, well, they're not innocent, but these are the least graphic content that she's showing publicly. And I don't know, she must have a mum, a grandma, a sister, an auntie or whatever. I think if that was my daughter or granddaughter or whatever, I'd be like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? You're 19 years old. Sorry, wasn't meaning to lecture. When I saw this, and I thought, when I put this on YouTube later, I'm not going to say anything. I just can't help it. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? You're 19 years old. You're going to regret it, Madison. Shall we fuck on the sunbeds? Did someone say facial and then some of it's blocked out? Full video on my spicy page. So this is not spicy, obviously, according to Madison. I'm not even going to go into that adult content. Honestly, I just got to be careful. I've got to be careful. This one, the next one, has not been called graphic content, but it bloody is graphic. So I'm going to have to, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to just whiz through it quick. Obviously, if you want to see Maddie's Twitter account, 19-year-old, very attractive girl. Of course she is. There's a lot of filter on that particular one. But yeah, attractive girl. Why are you doing this, Maddie? Why? Sorry. Not good. Anyway. Fully clothed for once. Well, I wouldn't really call that fully clothed. She's obviously got a different... Listen, she's a beautiful girl. What she does with her body, with her life, it is her life and it is her body. But I just hope to God she's not being exploited, because to me, at 19 years old, I think that's something she might regret in the future. These are the more respectable pictures. Can I take it all? But I won't be showing that, obviously. Oh, God. This is what I mean. You're going down it. These are the things that... oh, God. Oh, my God. Anyway, there you go. Would you be happy with your 19-year-old daughter doing all these things? I've got to stop sharing it because I just can't do it, because it feels like abuse to me. It feels like abuse just looking at that. And thinking that there's, if that was any relative of mine, that feels like abuse just looking at her Twitter account to me. Just Awful. I think Madison needs some help. If you're part of Madison's family, maybe you should help her. And maybe you should question why she's doing all these things at 19 years of age. Anyway. Yeah, exactly. Be careful where you click, Yvonne. Yeah, it is. It's not good. It's not good. So, okay. So I'm going to finish off there. Now, I just want to say about Madison. I doubt if Madison's watching this video, but maybe she is, or maybe some of her family. I'm not trying to be horrible about Madison. I'm literally caring about Madison and thinking I feel sorry for her for doing those things. It just feels all wrong. Feels all wrong. It feels very sad. You're getting involved in a world, or you're already involved in a world that at your age you shouldn't be involved in. Maybe at no time you should be, but you've still got time to get out of it. Don't know how you're going to do it. Your family can help you. You need to get out of that world, Madison, because that's not going to be good. It's not going to end well. You know, you're a beautiful girl. You know, you could do so much more with your life. But anyway, there you go. So I feel like I finished quite sad about Madison now, but the main thing that we're talking about today, prayers, of course, for John and his family. The main prayers are for the family of John's dad, John's mum, John's 92-year-old grandma, his two sons, his sisters, his brother. They want to find. It's awful to say, oh, please let them find John's body. Seems like, I mean, it's not a good thing to find your son's body, is it? But for them, and now that is the best case scenario, to find his body, take it home, get out of Spain, because they don't want to be in Spain. They're not here because they want to be here or they live here. This is a foreign country to them. Could be in Timbuktu as far as they're concerned, language difference, etc. Trying to deal, you know, and I've always said that about living in Spain. You live in Spain, and it's great when you're on holiday, coming out, you're having a drink in the, you know. But you know, Spain is a real place. It's not just a holiday place. Bad things happen here, just like they happen everywhere else. You have the same problems. You get your money problems. You get your relationship problems. You get your illnesses. All the same that you would anywhere, but it's just in a warmer climate normally, not at the moment. But do you know what I'm trying to say is I think people just think, oh, Spain's just a place you go on holiday. But when you have problems, that's when you realise you do need to be able to speak Spanish. Of course you do. You're in Spain. You cannot expect people to speak English, except in bars and restaurants, because that's it. You know, that's the only thing. You're dealing with the police, you're dealing with the hospitals, you're dealing with the schools, or whoever you're dealing with, you cannot expect them to speak English. You're going to need an interpreter for everything. And when it's something so emotional as what this family is going through, that it just must be awful. That's why when I first came here nearly 30 years ago, the first thing I thought was, I have to be able to speak Spanish. First problem I had when my son was ill when he was only a baby is I can't go through that again where I can't communicate with the doctors. I've got to be able to speak Spanish. So it's different when you're on holiday. Of course, you're coming out on holiday for 2 weeks. Why should you need to learn Spanish? You know, you wouldn't. If a Spanish person went to England for 2 weeks for holiday, you wouldn't expect them to speak English. But if a Spanish person went to England to live, you would expect them to speak English. Of course you would. And then if they went over to England and they had some problems where they needed the police or hospitals, you wouldn't expect them to speak to them in Spanish. You know, this is what we all have to keep in mind. So this family are going through it big time. If anybody knows anything, contact 112. That's the Spanish police. They do speak in English. So you can get an English speaker on there. Or you can ring the Guardia Civil. They don't tend to speak English, but, you know, you might be lucky and get someone there who speaks English. But if you need someone to speak English, 112 is the place. Or, of course, contact the Northern Ireland. I showed the portal where, if you rewind a bit on this video, I showed the portal where you can put in anonymous tips, etc. In Ireland. So let's hope another day comes. Is a long day ahead. It goes dark here about 6:15. It currently is more or less 6 minutes past 1, so there's still time for the searches. Hopefully today will be the day. I hope and pray for this family it will be. But anyway, thank you so much for caring about his family, and just thanks for watching, for caring, for being respectful, because it's important to be respectful whatever you think inside. Remember that whatever you put on the internet as well, anyone can read it. Could be his family reading it. So don't be disrespectful. It's not fair. You wouldn't like someone to be disrespectful to your family. So, just be aware of that. Be respectful in your comments, etc. afterwards. But thanks for watching. Please comment. It's not that I'm saying to you don't comment. I'm not saying that you can't have an opinion. What I'm saying is be respectful in your opinions to this family who, at the end of the day, are looking for their son. I hope they find him today. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you really soon in the next video. Please subscribe if you're not already subscribed. It's completely free, and please leave your DNA on the like button. These are free ways you can help my channel, and maybe between us, between all the other people that report, maybe someone will come up with some information that helps this family. So thank you so much. Hey, Wesley. Wesley, it's finished. You're all... Yeah, David, I agree. I think she is a victim because she's just a young girl. I think you have to remember that. People have to remember that, don't they? But I agree. Okay, bye. May your God go with you, of course. I'll tell you something. If prayers could work for John, the prayers and the good vibes and the good thoughts that are going out, if only that could bring him home in itself. There's his Facebook page, the Let's Find John George Facebook page, is full of positivity. So if good vibes, thoughts, prayers could, let them find him, he would be found. But today could be the day. Okay, bye.